Hello viewers, it's Peter Elgar, photographer from Brentwood, Essex, England again, with another camera review. And it's another loaned camera. I don't actually own it, but a friend has given me to look at it and play with it and do this review. It's a YASHICA FX-3 Super 2000. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I have done my video on the YASHICA FR1 and all the little things about that, but this is a later one. Well, what can we say about this? It came with one lens only, which is this one, and the instruction book in various languages, but as I'm going to explain it, we won't need to look at the instruction book in umpteen different languages. And the big lens cap, so we can move that out of the way for the moment. The construction of this is mostly polycarbonate as far as I can see. The base plate looks definitely polycarbonate. I don't think that's metal. The FR1 had much more metal on it, but this is much lighter, of course. Well, what do we find about this? It's a very simple camera, and it's only manual exposure. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a fully automatic exposure camera with programs, etc, etc. It's very good to learn photography on, and the lens is very sharp. I've done some tests at this lens, which is a 28 to 200 millimeter. No, it is 28 to 80, sorry, that's right, 28 to 80, 3.8 to 4.8 zoom, and it's very sharp. I've done pictures at full aperture and it's very usable. When I've done pictures and looked at them 6 times magnifier, the lens renders all the brickwork and everything very well. It has apertures on here from 3.8 to f22 going down, and you mark it against the little red line. And if you're using a yellow, what's it index, the orange index, that gives you less exposure for when you are zoomed right out. It varies the aperture, you see. This is the focusing scale, and that's a zoom scale. Sorry, I keep getting messed up now. 80 is where the index comes in, the orange. When you zoom it out, you lose a bit of light. That's the focusing. And it goes down to a macro setting of 0.27 of a metre. Quite close. That's quite handy. And then, not much else to say. Automatic diaphragm, of course. This is how you take the lens off with this little button here. Lens release button. Press that in and twist, and the lens come off. And it has a standard YASHICA bayonet mount with the actuating pin for the aperture here. So we'll put it onto a small aperture. There we are. You can see it stop down now. Pull it open, stop down. Open, stop down. Now that works lovely and cleanly. All in mint condition. I couldn't believe it. We'll put the lens cover on for a minute to protect it. It's a bit loose actually, and it's a huge filter size. There's no lens hood, but I think that's a 62 millimeter filter size for accessory filters and a lens hood. We'll put that to one side. If we drop it, it's not my camera. So this front is very, very simple. There's no standard 3mm flash setting either. No flash plug for that. The only thing on the front is this for the delayed action, and also to stop down your lens aperture. You pull it round, and then the mirror goes up, and then that stops the vibration, and then your shutter will go like that. Instant return mirror, and the mirror foam is in good condition here. Very good condition. None of the foam needed renewing. It has to have a battery for the exposure meter only, and it takes these little button cells, LR44s, in which I've now dropped one on the floor. Little LR44s like that. It takes 2 of those. So it gives you a total of 3 volt. And that goes in there. Then this is where you push it to rewind your film at the end. Now how do you know when you've got the right manual exposure? Well, you have to know a little bit about photography. Just choose a shutter speed that probably won't give you a shutter camera shake, such as 250, and you have it wound on ready, and you press the release halfway and it switches on. Inside here there's some little LEDs. I'm not clever enough in this video like to show you. Some operators are. They can show you the little lights inside. Oops, but I can't. My video, oh, there's a little green, there's a red one. Yes, look, that is a warning of under or over exposure. Then when you turn your lens aperture until that little light goes green, that means you've balanced the exposure. I can just about show you there, look at that. Film winding is a very standard, straightforward process of loading and winding on the film. Cassette goes in here, like that. Then you've got to look for the little peg and a slot on that side here. See? You have it partly wound. This is how you get extra frames. The film's gone up in price, hasn't it? Put it in there so that you catch on a little peg. And then this, there we are, push it in and press with your thumb. Take that up and watch that it's caught on a little peg, yes? Right, fire it off once. Make certain the little pegs are caught there, in the sprocket rather. Close it up and then watch the rewind knob having taken up the slack. Yes, that's moving. That's perfectly exposed. Now you'll find, although it's not showing number 1 on the frame counter, you will get extra frames by loading it like that. Okay, and when you want to take your film out, you press the rewind button here, and you can, I'll open it, but this is what beginners mustn't do, of course. Rank beginners mustn't open to watch it, otherwise you'll fold the film. And that's how the film rewinds back into your cassette. So if you're a rank beginner and you've never dealt with film, don't do this. It's only a practice film. The shutter is a good one. Unlike the FR1, it's got a vertically running shutter and it will synchronise with flash at 125th. There's the shutter blades coming down. Put it on a slower speed and you can see how the shutter opens. Put it to 1 second. Yes, look, it's accurate, very accurate. And it synchronises up to 125th of a second, which is where you set it here against this index here. There should be a little white line, but there isn't actually. It's a little thing there of setting the index. You set 125th, and that is orange. That means that's the fastest speed you can use with flash. You can use a 60th, 30th, and right down to all the slower speeds with flash. But you can't use a 250, 500, 1000, and 2000ths. Hence the name. This shutter goes to 2000ths of a second. Wow! Now, how do you tell the camera to get the correct exposure? Well, you've got to put in this little window here the ISO or ASA setting of the film. And it's marked ISO, not ASA anymore. It's International Standards Organisation now. You put in what number is on the film box, or if it's old film, you can downrate it. So if I have an out-of-date 400 ISO film, I don't put 400 in there. I downrate it to 200. I need my glasses off. There we are. It's 200 now, and that gives it 1 stop more exposure for out-of-date film. So that's about it. It's a very simple camera, but it works very well, and the pictures I've got with it are extremely sharp. That's it. Wonderful, isn't it? And I hope to have another one to review at another time, but thanks for watching this one. Cheerio for now, folks.